Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming to my class, the class that I've been given. I hope I will be, by your mercy and the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, will be able to say something that might be a little bit of use, and I'll do my best. So, we are in the 17th chapter, the punishment and reward of Kali. Text number 2. vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam mehantam iva bibhyatam vepamānam padā ekena sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam mehantam iva bibhyatam mehantam iva bibhyatam vepamānam padā ekena vepamānam padā ekena sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam mehantam iva bibhyatam vepamānam padā ekena sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam vṛṣam, the bull. mṛṇāla-dhavalam, as white as a white lotus. Mehantam, urinating. Iva, as if. Bibhyatam, being too afraid. Vepamānam, trembling. Padā ekena, standing on only one leg. Sīdantam, terrified. śūdra-tāḍitam, being beaten by a Sudra. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The bull was as white as a white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. Purport. The next symptom of the age of Kali is that principles of religion, which are spotlessly white, like the white lotus flower, will be attacked by the uncultured Sudra, population of the age. There may be descendants of brāhmaṇa or kṣatriya forefathers, but in the age of Kali, for want of sufficient education and culture of Vedic wisdom, such a śūdra-like population will defy the principles of religion, and persons who are religiously endowed will be terrified by such men. They will declare themselves as adherents of no religious principles, and many isms and cults will spring up in Kali-yuga, only to kill the spotless bull of religion. This state will be declared to be secular, or without any particular principle of religion, and as a result, there will be total indifference to the principles of religion. The citizens will be free to act as they like, without respect for sadhu, shastra, and guru. The bull standing on one leg indicates that the principles of religion are gradually diminishing. Even the fragmental existence of religious principles will be embarrassed. by so many obstacles as if they in the trembling condition of falling down at any time. Ummakyana timirandasya kyanangyana salakaya chaksuon militam yena tasmai shri kirave namaha Shri Chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale Svayam rupan kadamayam tadadi svapadantikam He Krishna karuna sindhu dinabandhu jagatpate Gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute Tapcha kanchana gorangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vṛṣapano sute devi pranamami hari priye Vancha kalvatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastyachare Shacharine. And the verse once again. vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam mehantam iva bibhyatam vepamānam padā ekena sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam. The bull was as white as a white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Shūdra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. So,
someone wants to read that. I was thinking if someone wants to read the text.
Oh yes, we completely forgot about that. Yes.
Can I skip that part maybe?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to name it.
Please chant.
What verse is it? 17:2. 17:2. Okay. You can chant first. Then I just
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam mehantam iva bibhyatam vepamānam padā ekena
sīdantam
śūdra-tāḍitam.
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
vepamānam padā ekena
vepamānam padā ekena
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam.
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
vepamānam padā ekena
vepamānam padā ekena
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam.
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
vepamānam padā ekena
vepamānam padā ekena
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam.
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
mehantam iva bibhyatam
vepamānam padā ekena.
vepamānam padā ekena.
Sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam.
sīdantam śūdra-tāḍitam. Mataji's? vṛṣam mṛṇāla-dhavalam. mehantam bibhyatam. vepamānam padā ekena. śūdra-tāḍitam. Okay, we have already said the translation. Thank you. I completely forgot about that one. So, the 17th chapter is telling about how the age of Kali, or how Kali personified, is beating a cow and a bull with a club. He's trying to destroy the last leg of dharma, the last leg of religion. And religion is described the bull is described very beautifully here, that it's white as a lotus flower, which is completely spotless and beautiful. And if you follow the religious principles, follow Varnashram Dharma, the society will also blossom like this beautiful flower. But that is what Kali is here to do. He is here to destroy it, so that we won't have it anymore. And I just want to clarify one thing, that it's said here that it was a Sudra. But he's actually lower than a Sudra, because as far as I understand, a Sudra is a part of this, a part of the four Varnas, with the brāhmaṇas on top. They are, if you have this social body, they are the eyes and they are the mouth of the society. They have spiritual vision and they educate people through that. The Vaishyas, they are these kṣatriyas, they are the upper body, the arms, and they are protecting society like the arms can do, defending. And then we have the Vaishyas, the belly and the thighs, as it was described, as what I saw. They provide material nourishment for the people. They are taking care of the economics and they are taking care of the food supplies. Please, and then we have the Sudras. They are the legs of the society and they are supporting all the other four Varnas. And all of these people are pious people. They follow the religious principles, namely that they don't break the four religious principles, I guess you can say. They don't do illicit sex life, they don't take intoxications, they don't eat meat, and they don't do gambling. So Sudras, they are actually gentlemen. Real Sudras, they are gentlemen. They provide humble service for the society. And they support us actually. So this man beating the bull and the cow, he's not a Sudra. He's lower than a Sudra. Just want to clarify that one. So today it is described we are much further into this age of Kali, where the majority of people are engaging in sinful activities, such as eating meat, taking intoxication, having illicit sex, and gambling. Like Anton was speaking about yesterday, that we have so many kebab, shawarma shops everywhere, and also, what do you say? What is it called? Lotto? Betting activities. Betting activities everywhere. The sinful activities is just a normal part of the day in modern day society. And it's described that in this age of Kali we are all Sudras, but the majority of people, as far as I understand, are actually lower than Sudras. But if I'm at least able to get up to the point of just being a normal Sudra, who's just supporting somebody I think that would be a great thing. Following religious principles and just trying to be a gentleman, actually just a proper human being is what we should strive for, actually to become God conscious. So people also engage in these activities because they are unaware of religion. Or they know that religion is there, but they are, as it is described in the verse, they are indifferent to it. I didn't know what indifferent meant, so I looked it up. It basically means that you don't really care for it. You don't see it as something that is really important to you. And before I moved into the temple, I wasn't really religious. I didn't believe in God as such. I believed that, okay, there might be something bigger, but we are also put in a very so-called materially comfortable situation in the modern society, where we have a very nice house that we build, and we have these light bulbs and they provide light for us. And we had some very smart scientists, and they made it. They are very smart, the scientists. And we have heating, and some very smart people, they made that. So it can in some ways seem very nice. We are put in a quite comfortable situation. But I hope I don't say too much, but we still have this situation with Ukraine at the moment, where you are in a war, and now many people, I don't know much about the war. I have not searched into it much myself, but people are like losing their houses. They are losing these comfortable situations they have been put in. So you can see that, okay, I'm actually not the controller. I'm not the controller of this cosmic manifestation. Because if I was the controller, then that would not happen. Then I could just sit I could just be in Hawaii, and I could just surf all day, and I could eat whatever I wanted to do. But that's not the way that it works. There might come a big tide and a wave might catch me and I might just die. The only thing that I can control in this world, at least what I try to do my best, is myself. I can get better at managing my own consciousness. But I cannot manage yours. I cannot manage any of your consciousness. You have your own free will. The only person who is able to do this is situated in our heart as Paramatma, Krishna. He is the supreme controller. He has a plan for this. He is also the one who has planned all these 4 yugas of Satya-yuga, Treta-yuga, Dvapara-yuga, and now Kali-yuga. It's all for us to get more attracted to Krishna, to get closer to him in some way. This age of Kali, it may be that we are, at least I am. I won't say anything about you. You are very gentle, nice people. But the listener had mentioned yesterday that the age of Kali is also the age of mercy, because the living entities, the souls who are actually supposed to have been given an animal's body, have had the opportunity to get a human body. And I bet that I was like a worm in the stool or something before. But I'm happy at least to be with such pious people who are like brāhmaṇas, real Vaishnavas. I'm very fortunate to be in this situation. So, why are people indifferent to religion in this age of Kali? Because, again, we are put in comfortable situations. and we think that we are the controllers. And I can take care of myself. But we cannot do that. And now we are actually in this situation with the war, we are forced to work together. And myself, I feel in some ways that this is a good situation, because we are being forced into supporting each other. And I can say for myself that I would like to go back home someday, to go back home, back to Krishna. And like I cannot chant my rounds and just think about Krishna all the time. Actually, I managed by the grace of Nikolai Prabhu, I have not been able to chant 16 rounds for 2 hours. During 2 hours, I used much longer time. But just by sitting next to you and listening to you, I was actually able to do it today. So I wouldn't be able to do that alone. Nikolai Prabhu ki jai. I was not able to do that alone. I needed to hear from another source, someone who had different experience and better experience than myself. But I'm still not at the point where I would be able to sit 16 rounds very concentrated and like see the Paramatma, see Krishna in my heart. I'm not on that level. And I'm very fortunate that I am in this age of Kali, because I cannot do that. I cannot do that. That's something that can be done in Satya-yuga, where you can sit and meditate like Dhruva Maharaj, who was meditating and not eating anything, and Krishna, he just came before him when he was 5 years old. So when I'm done with my 16 rounds, now I finished my 16 rounds, what can I do now? What can I do now to get closer to Krishna? One thing is that we have been put some tasks, mission of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. One thing is that we should read his books every day for 1 hour. I do my best to do that, and I feel very, very fortunate to have this knowledge. It's a good meditation, and especially also Nikolai, again, we read in the Bhagavad Gita yesterday, we were reading about the modes of material nature, and if we also want to raise, what do you say? If we want to advance in spiritual knowledge, if we want to advance in spiritual life, we also have to raise to the mode of goodness, sattva guna. And sattva guna is characterized by it being pure, it's illuminating, and it frees one from sinful actions. It's basically just a gentleman, or a very nice lady. It's very, very simple, and the simplest thing can sometimes be some of the hardest, because we are also conditioned by these other modes, passion and ignorance. Passion is characterized, it's called, that you strive for fruitive activities. You want something more. No, I get up every day for Mangala Arati, and but I want more. I want to do more than this. I want to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I want to do exercise, and I want to do more reading, and I want to change 64 rounds. But you might be able to do that for one day. I was finding myself waking up quite early this morning and thinking that I wanted to do more, but that I wanted to change my rounds before or do some reading, because then I can have done my reading, and when I have done my reading, I can also play the mridanga later. I can also do that, I can also do that, I can also do this, and when I do this, I'm gonna be like, I can get to be the greatest mridanga player, and every people will just love me. But that is that is more in the mode of passion. I want prestige. I want to be something big. I want to be better than others. Can we wait with questions until afterwards? Thank you. But that will still, it's described that passion is beginning, it's like a nectar, it's very, very sweet, but in the end it's like poison. So I'm very glad that I just was thinking about what was said by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita this morning when I woke up at 1:45. I said like, no, you just be balanced. Let's go to bed. Let's go to bed again. Just do things as you normally do, and take a shower. And you don't have to be better than anybody else. The greatest thing is actually what you can do is actually just try to be normal. Don't try to be better than anyone. Just try to keep it standard, and slowly we might be able to do it together to get better together. And the mode of ignorance, the tamaguna, it's described that it's basically pulling us down. It is poison in the beginning, and it's poison in the end. It doesn't do good for anyone. But goodness, that is like poison in the beginning. It's bitter, it's sour. It doesn't really taste that good. Like sitting for 2 hours and just saying one mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, one more time. Maybe it might. Okay, there's actually some taste here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, this is actually quite nice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just balanced, peaceful. Things will go nicely in that way. So, we should raise up to the mode of sattva guna, and we should try to fulfill the mission of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada, he made this ISKCON movement 50 years ago? Yeah. 66 years ago?
No, in 1966.
In 1966.
You have to calculate. 34 plus 22.
34 plus 22. That is 56. 56. This is when he started this movement. And he made 7 purposes of this movement. And number 1, we should propagate spiritual knowledge to society. We should tell people that you are not this body. This is not you. You are a person inside here. You are the eternal living soul. Sat Chit Ananda. And you are eternal. You are full of knowledge. And you are always blissful. You're always happy. This is us. This is you. And number 2, we should propagate a consciousness of Krishna. Okay, I'm a soul. What can I use that for? And I'm always happy. But you also have a home. And you are part of somebody. This soul is a part of something bigger. It's a part of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's living up in the spiritual world, on the Vaikuntha planets, and the soul also lives there. And Krishna, he lives in Goloka Vrindavan, which is the highest abode in the spiritual world. And this is an abode that, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we actually, by chanting a very, very simple process, we can get to this stage, by chanting Hare Krishna. And yes, number 3, we should encourage the Sankirtan movement. We should go out in the streets and just chant like anything. Ladisna Prabhu said yesterday that we should just throw. The next one was also distribution of books, but these can also go together, like Harinam and book distribution. Somebody does Harinam and somebody does book distribution just as much as possible. That he said that we basically throw bombs of books. Don't hope I offend anyone, this is war situation. But also, just distribute this holy name to everyone. Everyone just needs to hear. I wanted to also give another analogy, because we don't want to be violent in this way. I was speaking with my mom yesterday. She was here. And she was talking about Putin. That the Danish military, they were talking about that, okay, now we need to strengthen our military so we can fight this demon, so we can fight Putin. But will that really be the solution? Won't that just, at least what I'm thinking, that, okay, just make a fire bigger. If you want to put out a fire, you don't put in more wood. The fire will just get bigger. If you want to put out the fire, you act intelligently. You take a bucket of water and you can turn it out like nothing. And by acting intelligently, we could go out in the street and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As far as I understand, as far as I've been told, this is what can put out the fire of Kali. Enlighten people about this in this age of Kali. And I'm working on our farm, and right now we are cultivating the ground. So we might, this is at least a thought that I have, we might not attract so many people in the beginning. Like, you can be, why should I go in Harinam? People are not interested. Why should I distribute books? People don't seem interested. But if we take the analogy of, like, I'm a farmer, I need to cultivate the ground. I need to make the ground ready. First of all, there are some different processes in this. Like, I need to loosen the ground. Okay, when the ground is loose, I can put some, what do you say, building?
Fertilizer.
Can put some, then fertilizer, and the ground can get more nutrition, can get more nutrition. And then I can plant the seeds. When the seeds are planted, I need to water it. And slowly something will happen. So, if we want this, we have to just act in the mode of goodness, go out in the street and chant Hare Krishna. And distribute these books as good as possible. I might not be myself the best kirtan, the best Harinam player, the best mridanga player, anything. But this is at least my opinion. Not yet. I will do my best to get better. Because then, yeah, the mridanga is the fertilizer. The stronger it gets, the more people get attracted, hopefully. So, encourage the Sankirtan movement and distribute the spiritual books of Srila Prabhupada, where all this information of the soul, of Krishna is in. And number 1, 2, 3, 5, we should teach a simpler and more natural lifestyle to all people. In this society, like I said to you before, we have so many machines. We have lamps, we have radiator, we have smartphones, so-called smartphones. But I'm not getting smarter by using this phone. But by living a more simple and natural lifestyle, you can also see that there actually is a machine that is not created by me. The whole machine is nature, created by Krishna. And this is also, I think it's amazing to observe this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think it's amazing to observe this. For example, let's take the pumpkin. I think we planted some pumpkins down on Hare Krishna village. And pumpkin is so cool. You plant a seed and you water it a little bit, and then some months after, a pumpkin will come. And inside that pumpkin, there are, I don't know, there's like 50 more pumpkins in the form of seeds. And this is the machine of Krishna. This is the machine of God. Nature is there is already an eternal machine that is here. And if we just try to live more simply, we can actually see that, okay, everything is already here. There is already an amazing machine. I don't need to create anymore. I just observe what nature is doing and I just provide a little bit of work to it. Then Krishna, then God does the rest. There's also one nice analogy that I'd like to mention, that it is only God who can put a whole oak tree inside an acorn. It's amazing. And number 6, we need to bring the society nearer to Krishna. So, we should bring people to the temple. And again, we should go out on Harinam Sankirtan, build more temples. Like it says in the last one, erect holy places of pastimes of Krishna. As many temples as possible. Where we just remember the Supreme Lord, remember all his leelas in Vrindavan. So, just want to sum up that the 7 purposes of ISKCON is to propagate spiritual knowledge, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna, to encourage the Sankirtan movement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Distribution of spiritual books to teach people a simpler and more natural lifestyle, bring the society nearer to Krishna, and erect holy places of pastimes of Krishna. So, if we want to so-called fight Kali, I guess you can say that, fight this Kali-yuga, we should fulfill the mission of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. We should read his books, and we should do everything that we can to cooperate. This is also a mission that he actually gave us. Srila Prabhupada said, as far as I heard, all the people were so sad on his deathbed. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, what can we do for you? He said, you show your love to me by cooperating. So if we want to show our love to Srila Prabhupada, we need to cooperate. And I hope that I will be able to raise to the mode of goodness and stop being less selfish and start thinking more about all the living entities and do that together in the association with great Vaishnavas. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Karandara Shrimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai. And I want to ask if anybody have any comments or questions or corrections. Janardhan Prabhu.
So what about you spoke about Varnashram?
Hmm?
So what do kṣatriyas do? They also go on harness in Kali-yuga? And they don't bother about protecting society, they just go on harness?
We should also have someone who can protect us. And at least heard that, I think Lalitana, who also spoke about this, there was an army in ISKCON, like some people who were starting to train up people actually to, I don't know much about it, but we should have some protectors. But the thing that is important is that we should follow these religious principles. Otherwise it will just be like cats and dogs fighting. No, I want this, so I'm gonna kill you. No, You are kṣatriya. What is a kṣatriya? Kṣatriya is one who protects the society. And he protects the society from the instructions of proper brāhmanas who has this spiritual vision. So yes, I would say we should also have a kṣatriya class who knows martial arts, maybe even have weapons, but it should be to protect us. They should follow the four religious principles, and they should be under the instruction of the brāhmanas. Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned that in Varnashrama, all the classes are avoiding these four things, like illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. But I heard that for kṣatriyas it was allowed to gamble and to have illicit sex sometimes, and drink also. And Shudras could eat meat. So not all meat, but some.
Okay. I don't know much about this, but then I want to ask you, I need help in this connection. Is it also in... how does that work? Is it in a part of a yajna that they do this?
And part of their duties.
Part of the duties?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kṣatriya, like politics, you have sometimes maybe drink and sometimes...
Okay.
Social life.
It's written in Bhagavatam. Kṣatriyas, they eat meat because they hunt animals, and sometimes they also, because that's part of their duty, to stay fit. And outside of war, they have to, practice shooting arrows and so on. So they also kill animals, and sometimes they eat the animals. But the animal is already dead. It's not a slaughterhouse, but it's like, so that is kind of tolerated. They don't break. They are not kṣatriyas. They don't have illicit sex, but they can accept many wives. So it's not considered illicit sex like that. We see from Mahabharata, we see that, both Arjuna and the Pandavas, Arjuna, he had more than one wife. Yes. So, but it's kind of, but that is not Kali-yuga.
Yeah.
I heard in the lecture Srila Prabhupada said it's very important all wife of this kṣatriya should be happy. It's very important.
Yes.
But he said about our time, and he said it's not possible in Kali-yuga. It's not work. But in last time it's coming.
Thank you for mentioning this, Vasantogu. It's a very crucial point to have.
But I think you're right. It should also go on Harinam.
It should also.
Yes. The Harinam party has to be protected also.
Yeah.
So you can bring your weapons, yes. One person. You try to keep a peaceful atmosphere on the Harinam. Don't start a war.
Any more comments or questions?
It was a good lecture.
Okay. Thank you very much. Kanadara Shrimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Shri Shri Guruji ki Gora Premanande